Welcome to MPUNGWE-PUNGWE YouTube channel. Subscribe for you to enjoy more of our videos anytime we upload.
Thank you so much, the Right Honorable First Deputy Speaker. In your half ruling, the Right Honorable is correct. And I'm sure I'm speaking on behalf of the nation is also proud to hear that the investigation is going to be taken, the committee is going to be from this parliament. Let me say this. The first Deputy Speaker, APM is so bright and intelligent. And for him to ask the Minister of Justice to say Parliament should do that, he's aware that the one who said the black box is around is here. In here.
Honourable member for Mulanje West. Honourable member.
Yes.
Whip, please resume your seat. Honourable member, I would like to go. Honourable member, point of order.
No, let me finish.
Member.
I have the right to finish. I didn't mention the name. I have the right to speak. I didn't mention the name of a person. So I have the right to speak and haven't finished. The first Deputy Speaker, I haven't finished.
I will give you the floor. I will give you the floor.
No,
you will continue and finish. Let me guide you this way.
Thank you.
This issue, being such an important issue, I would like to ask the whole House to soberly bring our suggestions, because the job to investigate hasn't yet started. It will start, and we don't want. Can we allow you to finish, and then we'll go to the Zagasina, please?
The first Deputy Speaker, in fact, when the Minister of Justice took the floor, he said a number of several gaps. But the gaps of whether these commission of inquiries they forgot to indicate, maybe these are some of the gaps that the forest was saying it was so thick. And when we went there, it wasn't thick and it was just closer to the road. But also there were some issues that, some issues of saying, in the commission of inquiry, we thought the Minister of Justice is going to talk about the report which was supposed to be coming to us in every 4 hours, but we didn't even hear from there. Those are some of the gaps whereby the Committee of Parliament is supposed to look into all these. The first Deputy Speaker, I'm so wondering because I'm getting a lot of smell from the other side because they did ask the very same question, but they're making a lot of noise as if you did ask the question, you better remain quiet. No, we are fed of your smell coming from you.
Honourable member,
the
address the chair. Address the chair, please. I'm
addressing you, the Right Honourable Speaker. This is my 50th time to come here in Parliament. I know the procedures. I'm addressing you, the First Deputy Speaker, but I'm just wondering to people who wanted to blackmail, that they're asking the very same question. In the actual sense, they're just making a lot of noise which is not going to help us. Investigation is investigation. The Minister of Justice has told us that the committee is going to come out from here and is going to be supported by a number of experts. Those who didn't appear in the Commission of Inquiry, they're going to be part of them. Those who did the postmortem, they're going to be part of those. Those who made sure, who went to see why the aircraft was alone and the people were in different directions, they're going to be there. Those who were hiding in the forest and taking picture, and the one who was at the tower, TNM, is going to come and tell us where this watchman, the watchman went, the one who was on the tower, the missing person, where is it? They are going to be here. So there's no problem. We salute you, the First Deputy Speaker, for allowing us to debate on this question and allowing the Minister of Justice to come up and say, we are looking forward to see all these people who might not even go and appear to those people who are going to be summoned. If the committee is not going to come from this parliament, they are going to be afraid. These commissioners of inquiry who resigned, there are a number of reasons which is going to give us that why didn't he go and why did he resign? And these who didn't even go to commission of inquiry, they're going to come and tell us why didn't they appear? They didn't appear when they were called. So this is the right for committee which is going to ask them. Please stop making making noise. If you did ask this question, the Parliament is going to ask. The Parliament is going to call and going to make and is going to form this committee. So nobody, if indeed this one, the one whom we lost, the number of people whom we lost, they're also from your heart that you felt the same. There's nobody who's going to make noise than the noises which is going to come from this side. Because these people, they were governing, if they were serious enough, they were supposed to look into those issues. If they didn't know, they didn't even do that. They were just lying and cheating at us. Stop, remain quiet and stop making noise here. We are not small here. We are big enough that we can make this decision. Thanks so much, the First Deputy Speaker.
Hold on, members. Let's resume our seats.
Very much, Mr. First Deputy Speaker. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, there is a matter that is very important to the nation. This issue was brought in this House in our first meeting. It is to do with the tragic accident that happened at Shikangawa. The matter was referred to the Minister of Justice, and I wanted to find out the progress, where we are now, because Malawians out there are waiting. UTM as a party is waiting. I believe there are a lot of people interested to know where we are and how do we move from here. So that is the question that I have this this afternoon, to the Honorable Minister of Justice. Thank you very much, Mr. First Deputy Speaker.
First of all, allow me to thank the Honorable Member for Mwanza Central, and now that I've been informed that the member for, is it Lilongwe-Mpenu, asked a similar question. Let me thank Honorable First Deputy Speaker, sir, the two honorable members for their question. The question that I had on notice was from the member for Mwanza Central, and indeed it is a question on a matter of significant national interest. The honorable members asked my ministry to present a progress report, or indeed the status of what was termed as the Shikangawa plane crash that was referred to my ministry by His Excellency, the State President, Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, allow me, because of the importance of the question that I'm going to answer, to give a very brief background to this matter. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, on 10th June 2024, a domestic flight of a military aircraft called the Donia 228/202 with a call sign AF88M, called Malawi 2 because it was carrying the first Vice President, departed Kamuzu International Airport in Lilongwe, Malawi, to Mzuzu Airport in the north. On board the aircraft, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, were 6 passengers, including the Right Honorable Dr. Saulos Klaus Chilima, Vice President of the Republic of Malawi, and 3 crew members. The aircraft, unfortunately, did not reach Mzuzu Airport as it crashed at Ntungwa Hill in the Shikangawa Forest in Katabe District, killing all passengers and crew on board. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, The deceased passengers on board that aircraft were the late Dr. Saulos Klaus Chilima, Vice President of the Republic of Malawi, the late Her Excellency Madam Patricia Shaniru Zimbiri Muluzi, former First Lady and the advisor in the Office of the Vice President, late Mr. Abdul Kingston Lapukeni, the Deputy Chief of Protocol in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Assistant Commissioner of Police, late Lucas Kapeni, the Vice President's Guard Commander, the late Inspector Chisomo Chimameni, the late Vice President's Aide de Camp, and the late Mr. Daniel Friday Kanyemba, the late Vice President's Medical Officer. Mr. Speaker, sir, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, the deceased crew members, for record purposes, comprise the following: the late Colonel Owen Louis Sambalopa, pilot in command of that aircraft, the late Major Flores Rex Seremani, co-pilot and first officer, and the late Major Wallace Jordan Aidin, the flight engineer. The crew members were all service members of the Malawi Air Force, one of the 4 specialized services of the Malawi Defense Force, the MDF. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, after 10th June 2024, it took 4 months after that tragic aircraft accident for the former president of Malawi, Dr. Lazarus Makafe Chakwera, to exercise his powers under Section 2.1 of the Commission of Inquiry Act to appoint a commission of inquiry, which he did on 25th October 2025 to inquire into this air crash accident. The former president, in appointing that commission of inquiry, gave the commission of inquiry up to 30th November 2024 to conclude the inquiry and submit its report to the president. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, prior to appointing the commission of inquiry, this August House should know that the Malawi government had also requested the Federal Republic of Germany to assist in the investigation into this aircraft accident, and the Federal Republic of Germany sent the BFU to investigate the aircraft accident. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, the Commission of Inquiry submitted its report on 14th December 2024. Again, the BFU submitted 2 reports, an interim report and a final investigation report. I'm saying these things for the reason that I'm going to give you later on. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, on 16 September 2025, Malawi conducted tripartite elections in which His Excellency Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika and the Democratic Progressive Party won the election with a resounding win. On or about 4th October 2025, His Excellency Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, President of the Republic of Malawi, made his first national address and informed the nation that once he appoints the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, that minister should review the reports of the investigations into the tragic aircraft accident which happened on 10th June 2024 and make recommendations to His Excellency the President. Fortunately, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, that Minister of Justice is myself. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, I am pleased to report to this August House that I duly, as your Minister of Justice, reviewed all the reports of the investigations into the aircraft accident which happened on 10th June 2024 at Ntungwa in Chikangawa in Nkatabe District. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, my review of the reports revealed several gaps in the investigations and findings about this particular accident. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, I wish to inform the August House that the interim report by the BFU was published before conclusion of the investigations by the BFU. As such, that interim report was not conclusive on the cause of that accident. In particular, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, the interim investigation report by the BFU was not conclusive on the cause of the aircraft accident on 10th June 2024. More particularly, the interim report by the BFU did not attribute the air crash accident to bad weather, because at the time of publication of that interim report, the BFU had not received the expert opinion from the German Meteorological Services, which the BFU had asked to compile the meteorological expert report opinion concerning the weather conditions along the flight path, and in particular in the area of the accident site. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, my review also revealed that the terms of reference of the Commission of Inquiry were unduly narrow, particularly with respect to the scope of the inquiry and also to the limited time frame which His Excellency the former President gave to the Commission of Inquiry to release their findings. Furthermore, the integrity of the Commission of Inquiry was negatively impacted by resignations of 2 commissioners during the course of the investigations. In particular, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, one of the commissioners resigned after serving the commission for more than 3 weeks, up to 21st November 2024. The commission did not give details of the circumstances of these 2 resignations. These resignations are significant and, in my opinion, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, affected the integrity and impartiality of the inquiry. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, the Commission of Inquiry also reported that some witnesses who had been summoned declined to testify before the Commission. The Commission reported that 3 witnesses who had been summoned did not appear before the Commission of Inquiry, namely, one spouse of one of the deceased members of the crew, Pastor Abraham Kandawire, and one Dr. Charles Zamarara, an observer pathologist to one of the autopsies, who was also invited to testify to the Commission, but he declined. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, the Commission also reported very poor response from the general public on the call for information that the Commission widely publicized in all media channels. The Commission reported that less than 5 people showed interest to testify, and only 2 were heard by the Commission, as the rest of the people who showed interest to testify grew, and I'm quoting from the report, grew cold feet and never responded, end of quote, to the Commission's follow-ups on their proposed testimonies. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, the above factors, in my opinion, clearly show that the Commission of Inquiry operated in an environment in which witnesses were constrained for fear of possible political reprisals. This greatly affected the integrity of the results of the Commission of Inquiry. On the other hand, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, in several aspects, the final investigation report by the BFU relied heavily on the evidence and conclusions drawn from the Commission of Inquiry, whose integrity I found to be wanting. More particularly, the BFU attributed the cause of the accident to weather conditions on the strength of the evidence and findings in the Commission of Inquiry report. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, in view of the totality of these factors and other factors, I had the view that investigations into the accident failed to provide conclusions and final closure to the aircraft accident, which happened on 10th June 2024. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, it is for these reasons that I, as Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, recommended to His Excellency the State President that it was necessary to carry out a fresh inquiry or investigation into the accident of 10th June 2024. At this juncture, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, let me put it on record that a document which was circulating from yesterday on social media purporting to come from my office is a fake document. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, I wish to report that this August House has pleased to direct that indeed a fresh inquiry and investigation should be carried out into the accident that took place on 10th June 2024. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, I have the honor to report and inform this August House that Section 56, subsection 6 of the Constitution of the Republic of Malawi vests the power in this Parliament to establish any committee of its members for the performance of the functions of this Parliament. Furthermore, Section 60, subsection 3 of the Constitution gives the Parliament the power to conduct investigation on any matter. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, this August House is, in my opinion, and according to His Excellency the President, is the constitutional organ of this state that represents all Malawians across the political divide. It is for this reason, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, that His Excellency the President, His Excellency Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, has now directed that the fresh inquiry and investigation into the Chikangawa plane crash on 10th June 2024 be conducted by a committee to be established by this House. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, as your Minister of Justice, and the experience that I've had in reviewing the reports, my only advice that I can give to this August House, that once the committee of this House has been constituted, that committee should be supported by a technical expertise in air crash investigations. I thank you very much, Mr. First Deputy Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable First Deputy Speaker. I want to thank the Honourable Minister for the response and also the guidance that he provided to the President. As UTM, and I believe many Malawians, we have been vindicated. All along when we said we are not convinced with the inquiries, I think many people thought it was politics. But I think now, coming from an expert of law, we have been vindicated. My question, I'm very surprised, Honourable First Deputy Speaker, that my colleague there submitted a question similar to mine, but is the one disputing what the Honourable Minister has been saying. So I don't know what was his intention, asking a question to the Minister. He's always mumbling and mumbling. This issue is a serious issue, Honourable Minister. Honourable Member, this is a serious issue, and it requires proper attention.
Members, order. Address the chair, Honourable Kwanza.
Thank you very much.
Honourable members, order. Honourable Lilongwe Mpenu, please. Honourable member for Mwanza Central, avoid reflecting on a fellow honourable member. When you rise, you address the chair.
Thank you very much.
Honourable Member, address the chair, Honourable Member.
Apologies, right, Honourable First Deputy Speaker. You know, this issue is very emotional. Some of us, this issue gets into our nerves. So I apologize for that. My question, right, Honourable First Deputy Speaker, is how are we going to, how is Parliament going to include experts in this issue? That's number one. Number two, there are criminal elements already that can be seen. How can the Honourable Minister, or rather other ministries, come in as the inquiry is taking place? Because we have experts that can also do criminal investigation in this matter. How do we proceed with that arrangement as Parliament is moving on with the inquiry? I'm asking about experts because I know here in Parliament we may lack some expertise. How are we going to proceed in that manner? Thank you very much.
Leader.
First Deputy Speaker, thank you very much for giving the people of the Zamulunduni this opportunity to say a word. First, I appreciate the guidance that you gave that we'll stand and respond in blocks. I thought I should raise a reservation, not reflecting on your ruling or on the guidance, Honourable Speaker, but this matter being a very important matter, generating a lot of interest from the members, and having come on the floor without prior notice that this matter will be brought on the floor, it would be extremely difficult for one speaker to represent a bloc. I thought I should first submit that. But listening to the Honourable Minister of Justice, first I want to appreciate Honourable Minister for taking your time to give a response to this House. And let me also appreciate Honourable Mwanza Central. The Mwanza Central Honourable has not carried his own prayer or the prayer of UTM alone. He, along with the other owner of the same question, are carrying a prayer for the entire nation. This is something that the country would want to see a closure on. The families would want to see a closure if possible. All those that lost their beloved ones and the nation at large would want to see this matter giving the responses that really would soothe our hearts and say, this is a true reflection of what happened to cause that accident. And listening to the Honourable Minister further, he indicates that this House will constitute a committee that should do the other investigation. It's a recommendation. Well, thank you for that. But I wanted to suggest, Honourable Minister, if possible, this House being a political House, and we will agree that this matter, in one way or another, has been politicized, whether directly or indirectly. And there is that possibility that leaving this kind of a crucial issue to Parliament and only bringing technocrats and other experts from outside as visitors into the committee may not really bring out the desired justice that Malawians would want to see. Our recommendation, or my recommendation, would be that the presidency should come up with a committee, a national committee that's going to comprise experts, and should there be a need for a joint committee with Parliament, let that be. But First Deputy Speaker, to leave this to Parliament, a house of parliamentarians, of politicians only, it may not bring out the result that Malawians want. Lastly, I would want to request that from the budget that is coming this week, the Honourable Minister of Finance must make sure that sufficient resources are allocated towards this inquiry. So the Honourable Minister of Finance has to make sure that there are sufficient resources. There must be sufficient resources in the budget for the carrying out of this investigation. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Mpenu, Ulilongwe Mpenu.
Thank you, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir. I would like to say, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, that the 10th of June, 2024, goes down in history as the most somber and solemn day in the history of this nation. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, our colleagues on the other side, the DPP, when campaigning, they told this nation that as soon as they got into office, they would put together a fresh inquiry into this tragedy. And we were all made pregnant with the expectation that a fresh investigation into this tragedy would be conducted. Now, whilst we respect the advice that the Minister of Justice has given to the head of state, and whilst we respect the constitutional provisions that give mandate to this House to put together a committee that would carry out an investigation into any matter of national interest. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, as the whip this side indicated, allowing this House to investigate this matter would be to reduce the weight of this matter. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, when I submitted this question, understanding Order 14, my expectation and the expectation of this side was that the executive would put together a and not leaving that to us, politicians, to carry out an investigation into this tragedy. It will be very unfair. We are not being fair to this nation. We are not being fair to the families affected. We are not being fair to anybody if we try to belittle this by saying that this matter should be investigated by a committee of Parliament. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, that is not fair to this nation, and it is not fair to the families affected. May I request, therefore, that the executive put together a team of experts that will carry out fresh investigation into this tragedy. I so submit, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir.
Subscribe to MPUNGWE-PUNGWE Malawi YouTube channel for you to enjoy more of our videos every time we upload. We love you all.